What would you do in algebra if you've been given problems that look like this, and you've been told to solve for x? Well, one of the methods of getting the correct answer is something called the zero factor property. This is going to be done when you have an equation set equal to a value. Just like the name suggests, we're going to need a zero on this side of my equal sign. If you need to, you can rearrange your formula. Sometimes they might give you a value on the other side of your equal sign, and just using your algebra that you already understand, you can move your value to the other side so you're left with a zero on one side of your equal. Now that you have your zero on the outside, the next step is factoring. You need to have factors. With this, we're going to assume that one of the values to equal 0 has to be a 0. That's the only way you can get a 0 in a multiplication problem. So we need to have two values being multiplied. Here I have x times x minus 7 equals 0. I have multiplication. Over here I don't. If it's already set up for you, all you're going to do is break your factors in half. X is my first factor, equals 0. Here's my other factor, entirety, equals 0. Then I solve for x. X equals 0. Yay! Here, you finish solving, and you have both answers. That's it. You're done. Either x would equal 0 or x could equal 7, and you would be able to have 0 at the end of your equation. What if they didn't already give you multiplication in your problem? Well, we can get there. We have been weeks and weeks and weeks doing factoring, so we know how to factor our trinomial. X would be x times x. 10 is the next part we look at. 10 is found by getting a 1 and a 10, or multiplying a 2 and a 5, and that's it. Which of these factors will probably give me a negative 3? Well, let's try our 2 and our 5. I'm going to put a 2 and a 5 in either order. 1 needs to be a negative, and they have to be opposite signs. So we want my final answer to be negative, and we need to have opposite signs. So we could check this. I'm going to FOIL. X squared, outers, inners, last. Good. I have factored correctly. Now that I have my factors, that's what my goal was at that part. I now break it apart. Equal to 0. Equal to 0. Either A or B has to equal 0. Now I have x equals negative 2 or x equals positive 5. And I'm done. I have found the two choices for the x's that I have. I had my factors and I started out with a 0. So whenever you need to solve these, you just need to make sure you have your zeros, your factors, and then you can solve your equation.